Hello and welcome to this video about one of my favourite local hills around here called Brasted Hill. It's just literally between Biggin Hill and Westerham. There's some quite good rides going up towards Westerham as well, which I'll cover a little bit in the future. But here we are at the moment on Bedlstead Lane, which leads up to the next part of the ride that I was telling you towards Brasted Hill. You have quite a few hills that are together, which are all pretty good rides, some better than others for various reasons. But as we head up Bedlstead Hill here, or Bedlstead Lane, this is the area I want to take you to, where you can see the red icon at the bottom in the middle there. That is actually Brasted Hill, just in from the M25. It's on a fantastic road called Pilgrim's Way, which I love. It's almost like you're in the country, but you're not that far away from London, if you know what I mean. There's some vineyards and various other fields and things which give you that lovely country feel that are well worth a look at. I've sped up the film here a little bit because we're going up Bedlstead Lane, and if you've seen my previous video about Bedlstead Lane climb, which is well worth a trip just for that climb, if nothing else, it's also another beautiful site. Every time I go out on the bike on these lanes, I'm always awed by how beautiful everything is around it, even when it's raining. And sometimes I've been up here when it's been snowing as well. It's where I leave from home in West Wickham. It could be dry and sunny well, I say dry and sunny, but it'll be cold, but it'll still be sunny. And as I get up towards Biggin Hill, because it's high up, you get some snow settling here and things. So a couple of times before when I've been out, it's been a lot. You have to be a little bit careful because of ice and snow up here, where you don't get it several miles earlier, basically. So it's a bit of an odd one, but nonetheless, here we are. We're at the very top of Bedlstead Lane here, and we're coming up to the junction of the, if you wait for a second, boom, there it is, the BO2024. Now you descend slightly down here and you turn into a road called White Lane. It's really easy to miss. It's a very narrow lane and it's hidden by shadows of trees basically that hang over it. If you're trying to do a right here, I would suggest you pull over to the left, wait for the traffic to go, and then just move across to the right. This road can be quite a scary episode to do a right here because of the speed of cars coming past, and bikes as well, motorbikes that is. So just be a bit careful. Anyway, here's the entrance. We turn down it, and quite frankly, within about 15 meters you're going to be on the brakes. This is an exceptionally steep hill, so much so that before on other bikes I've literally had to slide my backside off the back of the saddle to brake on it before. It's that steep. It's also, the road surface is pretty bad, and in the summer the tarmac can end up being cracked, in the winter if there's any ice etc will break it up, so you end up with a lot of loose bits of tarmac on this road, so it can be very dangerous. I wouldn't like to ride this in snow or any kind of cold weather, to be honest with you. I think it would be too dangerous. But here we go, middle of summer. Strangely enough, I'm actually out on the e-bike. I've got a Calcoff which I've had since 2014 for commuting, and occasionally I take it out, and I'm finding it better and better nowadays for filming because it's got huge panniers. You've got a space on the back to put a further bag if you need it, and it will carry all my camera equipment, drinks bottles, handlebar camera, which is this one that's filming, Garmin, and various other items that I find I take with me when I'm going filming. I prefer it to taking the car, to be honest, because if I can get away with it, I'd rather go out on the bike than in the car. But sometimes, depending on which camera I take, I've got a big video camera which is a Sony PMW X1, and that weighs about 7 kilos on its own, and the tripod that I use occasionally with that is, well, the smallest it folds up to is about a metre long, and that tripod with its um, fluid head on it is another 6 or 7 kilos. By the time you've thrown batteries, filters, and other bits and pieces in there, you might be looking at 12 to 14 kilos of kit on top of your bottles and your other bits and pieces you might be taking. And to be honest with you, the e-bike itself weighs about 28 kilos with its battery on and without anything else on it. Now, the reason why I like to use the e-bike is I've discovered a few things about it that I would not have gone out and bought myself to put on a bike, but because they're on there, I find them hugely impressive. One of the things that it's got is mudguards, which my drop bar 29er has mudguards as well. I'm a convert basically for everyday riding. It's brilliant. However, it's also got something called a kickstand on it, which you might have had when you had a kid's bike. Now, again, every time I used to look at kickstands on bikes, I used to treat them very negatively. But if you've got a bike that you're going to be doing filming with, and you need to get into panniers and things, you can't have it lying down its side, or you can't have it leaning up against the tree. If it falls over, there's going to be untoward damage, all sorts of things that can happen with it, especially with a heavy bike attached to it as well. So the kickstand is absolutely ideal. It's also got a suspension fork, which is, again, I'm a big fan of comfort on a bike. It takes 42mm tyres. It will go larger, but you'll have to mess about with the mudguards to get clearance on those. And it's got loads of room at the back for bigger tyres as well, so it wouldn't be a problem, I think, to run, if I wanted to, 58, 60mm tyres like I've got on my drop bar 29er, or mountain bike tyres for want of a better word. Now, the downside of using this particular bike is when I load it up, and I leave stuff in there as well from previous trips, so it kind of accumulates more and more weight. Although it's an e-bike, it can also be hard getting up hills because of the way it's pulling. So I've got racing bikes and things that, quite frankly, I can get up hills almost as quick as on the e-bike. The e-bikes are 1 by setup's 10 speed. I mean, it's got pretty much everything you need on it, and the motor has 3 modes. So you've got an eco mode, a standard mode, and I don't know, they call it a high power mode or a sport mode or so. Basically, it gives you another 70 odd watts or so. I very rarely use that, but now that I've got it loaded up on a few of these climbs here, which are in excess of 20%, I tend to use the middle mode on it. I can get away most everywhere with eco, to be honest with you. But anyway, here we go. This is one of my favourite roads around here. This is Pilgrim's Way. Now, it runs to the right of where we're looking right now. You've got the M25 that runs in parallel with it, about 2 miles away. You have farms. I think they keep cattle and pigs. I'm pretty sure I can spot pigs around here as well in the summer. But it's just a lovely place to be. I mean, look at it. It looks like you could be out in rural Lincolnshire or somewhere like that. But you're actually literally, I don't know, 15 miles, 16 miles away from London, really, as the crow flies. At certain points on these hills here, you can look across into London, a little bit further on anyway. But just take a look at the scenery here. It is absolutely fabulous. This isn't a particularly busy road. You still have to be a little bit careful, but mostly it's a road that most people don't know about. I think a few locals do. But you don't come across many cars going up and down this road, which makes it ideal for cycling. You will see quite a few cyclists here because a lot of cyclists have got or heard the word on this particular place, so they use it quite frequently. And if you like climbing, you're going to be doing a fair bit of it around here. There's some quite steep climbs. I would say, unless you're going to the climbs that I'm just about to point out to you now, you can find ways around that are not so steep. However, if you don't know where you're going, you might find yourself turned into a road that suddenly turns into a 20% plus climb. I mean, there's some climbs here that are 25% locally. You really have to know which way you're going on the map to have a look at it. But if you take this route here, I'm covering 4 climbs. I'm not actually videoing all 4 climbs, but I'll show you where they are on the map. And if you then come to this area, you can think to yourself, I can make a route that will take me down. Pilgrim's Way is the one that you need to go on this particular road here, because there's quite a few climbs coming off this. Now, the first climb that you could do, and I wouldn't suggest it, there's the one coming up at the top of this hill here. I think it's called Vicarage Lane. Now, if you follow the main road down where I turned off on White Lane, basically, it will take you down to a main road and you can turn right and drop down to Vicarage Lane. I wouldn't recommend it. That road is very, very fast with traffic, and to move to the right hand side to make this turn, I've done it about 4 times and I've had 2 near misses. So I've given up trying to descend down this road. I go the White Lane way. Now this is the view from Vicarage Lane at the very top here, and as you can see, stunning views. And if you look off where this picture is here, to the left hand side, hidden by the tree line, is the M25, so you're literally within inside that. On the right hand side here, you've got the towers for Titsy Hill, which you can see at the top of the distance there. And we will then proceed towards the first of the climbs, really. There is one climb here that I like, which we'll be coming up to fairly soon, called Hog Trough Hill. Hog Trough Hill would be my favourite climb, purely because it's really easy going as far as traffic goes. There's not too many cars there. It's a bit wider than Brasted and less likely because it's in the middle of the Pilgrim Way. It's not a direct route up the hill. Now, as you can see there, beautiful sights to either side of this road, and I mean they are fantastic sights. If you come here in the sun, actually, do you know what? I've come down here in the rain as well, and it's still a stunning sight. Hog Trough Hill, that's my favourite hill or climb around here, purely, as I say, because not a lot of traffic uses it. It instantly rocks up to about 20% here, and it keeps going for probably the best part of a kilometre. There are some shady bits further up, which, you know, is a godsend when it's hot, to be honest with you. And I would say that would be the one I'd recommend for the first climb that you're gonna go to. I would say that one is, and that's the one that I tend to use apart from Star Hill. Now, as we come a little bit further up, we're coming up to the junction here of Brasted Hill. Now this road comes up, it slips over the top of the M25, so you can drive up from the right. So here we go, we're just going to go a little bit further down Pilgrim's Way now, and we're heading towards the junction of Brasted Hill. Now the road itself goes to the right towards the M25. As I say, there's a bridge that goes over it from Brasted village, and it'll then come up this hill. Now this is we're looking up Brasted Hill here. It doesn't look like it's hilly, but it is. Now I've switched to external camera now. This is a handheld camera that I brought with me. Obviously I was taking still photos as well with it. This is the view heading towards the M25. On the left there's more of Pilgrim's Way there that will take you further down. Generally speaking, I go down towards Brasted and across along the other side of the M25 and then back up towards Star Hill, which I'll show you on the map in a bit. There's the e-bike. Now, as you can see, it's loaded with stuff. Oh, the mirror's one of the things that I quite like about it as well. Gives you a good view what's happening behind you. I've kind of got used to having those on 2 of my bikes now, which are a real godsend. I really can't imagine on certain bikes going without it. Anyway, here we go. We're now heading up Brasted Hill. Now at this point here, it hasn't ramped up yet. You go around the corner a little bit here, and it starts to really ramp up. The thing I don't like about this particular climb is the fact that the road's so narrow. I've seen a few cars come down here really quickly, and occasionally you'll get impatient drivers sitting behind you. Here you can see me, I'm just about to pull in to let a van go past. I didn't want him sitting behind me all the way up. And this is one of those hills that if I hear a car behind, I will stop and then have to restart again. And that's no fun, to be honest with you. That's what I don't like. Anyway, we're starting off now on the getting to the steep section. It's the complete opposite to Hogtrough Hill, actually. Hogtrough Hill, the one beforehand, starts steep, stays steep, but then kind of levels off. This one just stays steep. Literally, as soon as it starts to ramp up, it stays steep all the way through. And as I said, because it's a narrow road and it's used by more traffic, I get very nervous going up and down this one. It's not. It would be one that fills me with trepidation whenever I go up it. Now, I've switched already up on the e-bike here to the middle power setting, and there was a chap that I spoke to a little bit earlier on. He was heading up the hill, and he said he wasn't really feeling up to it, but he'll give it a go anyway. And I didn't think I'd catch him, actually, to be honest with you, but he's obviously decided enough's enough. I didn't have a proper look at the gearing on his bike. Now, this is one of those hills where you need to have the right gearing, otherwise it's just going to be horrible. I run on my racing bike a 34 rear cassette, and I've got some absolute back climbing oval chain rings, so it's got a 4630 on it, which makes this hill easily climbable for me. I don't go up it very fast. I don't go up any hills very fast, to be fair. But in an ideal world, that's the gearing that I would have on my bike, rather than try and, just brute force my way up it and then die 1/3 of the way up. It's not my idea. I like to climb hills. As I say, I'm not going to get up them fast. I'm not going to be Alberto Contador going up these hills. So the gearing's got to be suitable so I can get up them. It still takes an effort regardless of who you are, but I like to be able to climb hills and get to the top of them without getting off. So here we come. It turns the corner slightly here, gets a little bit steeper, and then a bit further on, it kind of eases off a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. But to be honest with you, up here, if you've got the wrong gearing, this is hellish. Regardless of how strong you are, it's hellish. I've known people who ride in quite high categories of racing that still they use it as a test, but they don't like it. It's not a pleasant hill because of, as I say, it's not particularly safe. If the weather's inclement, it's not particularly nice, and it's narrow as well, so you can't see. And the other thing is, because of the hedges and things, it cuts down quite a lot of the noise as well. So, as I say, if you've not done any of these hills before, I would recommend Hogtrough for one, and Star Hill is also quite nice as well. There's another one a little bit further on, I'll show you on the map a little bit later on, called Sandridge Hill, and that's a definite no-no. Very narrow, very dark, overcast with trees, and it really only has space, and a lot of it, for only one vehicle to go up. So even on a bike, you'd probably have to stop just to let somebody in a Range Rover invariably. I've done that once. I won't climb up it again. It's just not my idea of fun. But people have different views on things. I like to enjoy when I get out. I don't want to be stressed when I'm riding, so I avoid stuff that I don't like, and that's one of the hills that I avoid. But as I say, Hogtrough is excellent. Star Hill is excellent. There's quite a few hills. You're spoilt for choice for hill climbing around here anyway. I would heartily recommend this area because there's loads of places to go. And also, if you go across the M25, you've got God, what's it called? Toys Hill. Toys Hill, that's the one. Anyway, we've come to the top of this climb, and as you can see, I'm going to pull over in a second. And here's the map of the hills. Now, I've managed to make a illustration here, but you've got the 4 hills where you can see the red dot. In a second, you'll see some colours come up, and it shows you the 4 hills for this particular part of the neck of the woods that you can do. Now, the purple one at the beginning is Hogtrough. The blue one is Brasted Hill. The yellow one is Sandridge Hill, and the red one is Star Hill. As you can see, you have to go around a little bit on the B2211 to get to Star Hill. That's a pretty fast moving road, bit narrow. Just be a little bit careful there because cars tend to use that coming off the motorway pretty quickly. But it's not too bad. It's not one of the worst roads I've been on, not by a long way. But as you can see, that's the four hills there. Some people like to do all four hills in one go. I'm not one of them. Usually after I've got to this place, having climbed a fair few hills, I don't want to go up too many steep ones like that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you get the chance. There are further hills here that I'll get round to filming fairly soon, hopefully. And if you like photography, please head over to imagepixie.co.uk. That's my website for my photography. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. Again, please like and subscribe if you can. Thank you. Bye.